Good evening, everyone,
Hey-o!
and welcome to the Funbox Monster Podcast. My name is Tristan.
I am Matt Awkward.
And today we're going to be covering a film called Grave Secrets.
Oh.
We're back from a little vacation. We took a break to do a screening, and it was fun. And we have an extra bonus episode from in there with Jackie Kong as an interview that's going to be super fun. Thank you all for coming out, whoever came.
That's a good get.
That was really fun.
That was a very fun night.
It was an absolute blast. I really enjoyed it. So
thank you, Jackie, for doing this with us and coming up here, and
super awesome.
We had a blast.
Yeah. And now we're coming back. We're coming out hot.
Yeah.
We're coming with just like the most exciting film that we could have chosen, Grave Secrets.
Oh, there's so many secrets here in this movie.
This reminds me a lot of when we were producing the convention, and I was like, we got to get, we're trying to get this thing where it's like it's going to grab people right out of the gate. And so when I was doing the convention, I was like, we got to make sure that we can make it a little more family friendly. We were skewing a little towards some other stuff. And then I didn't watch Savage Streets and had a full cast reunion and screening of the movie Savage Streets, which, if anybody remembers, it's not terribly family friendly.
So, you could rectify that mistake and make good on it by hosting another con.
Sure. I'll do a Bikini Car Wash cast reunion.
Perfect.
That one of the people from Savage Streets was in Bikini Car Wash.
I'm going to get my tape signed.
That would be great. But
Let's
anyway,
do a con. Write in and tell Tristan to do a con again.
No, we'll just do these screenings. They're fun.
Yeah.
I like it. But here's what we're here for. What we're really here for is to talk about the film Grave
Secrets. It's got such a killer song there.
It's
that I just made up.
It is so the exact opposite of that. Oh God, it's stupid getting spam from people about campaign crap. Oh my God, this movie is boring. There's no way around it. This is a fucking dud of a movie. Sorry to the director. He tried really hard. I have a feeling he has this up on his YouTube. I have a bad feeling he's going to watch this and get mad at us for it. And I feel bad because I don't have anything against him. He made some really cool choices. He did some really fun stuff. But this is not the kind of movie that we tend to talk about. This is a movie that was more trying to do a serious film kind of angle on the horror genre. And we tend to prefer the bikini, monster angle.
I'm pretty sure I laid out a bunch of tapes for you to pick from.
You did.
One of them being Crawlers that had like a bikini girl right on the cover, and you were just like, let's try Grave Secrets.
In my defense, it did have a monster face on the cover, which we see twice.
Yeah. I had never seen this. This tape had been living on my shelf unwatched for quite some time, so I just grabbed this for the pile, and I'm glad I got it out of the way. And I wouldn't say it's terrible, but it's definitely not in it's kind of in my wheelhouse because I love ghost movies.
Yeah.
But I just wish this was, a little bit sillier because I do love the silly stuff. And I don't know why it feels like it needs to get so freaking dark at the end when you find out everything. It's like, this isn't fun or neat or this is just gross and
it feels
dumb.
Edgelordy to a certain extent. It feels like somebody trying a little too hard to be dark and upsetting.
I just wish it had like a cooler resolution of why these things were happening, where it's just like...
And also, not to cut all the way to the end right at the beginning of the podcast, but this is a movie that when you have a ghost story... Okay, first off, I was irritated the whole time. I don't know about you, because I was basically just like, I swear to God, if these people are all fucking ghosts, I'm going to burn the entire planet to the ground.
You texted me that, and I never had that.
Every time there's a ghost story, I'm like, everybody's a ghost.
What, did you think it was going to wrap up with the cops showing up and be like, nobody's been in this town for years?
Basically. I just assumed that it was like, oh no, he's the one who was dating her, and she talked to him, she's trying to get him back, and it's basically like, whatever, or she's a ghost or whatever,
or they're both ghosties.
They're both ghosts. I was super glad that it wasn't that, so I will admit that I was glad about that. But a movie like this, especially a ghost movie or supernatural or any of these things that have all the big rules, if you don't have an ending in mind when you start the film, like start writing the story, you're gonna fail. Like, they're all predicated on having a cool ending that explains the whole thing and wraps it up. And spoiler alert, this movie does not have a cool ending. No. This movie they pray to a baby and it explodes the villain. And
Explodes a generous term.
Digitally dissolves a villain in a shitty,
like a laser beam. Yeah, like a Star Trek where they're getting beamed up.
like a laser baby. Laser baby shoots the villain. He
if
dies.
Laser Baby came out of the ground and started shooting Laser Baby laser eyes, now we're talking.
Okay. Before we even talk about the movie, let's fix the ending before we even start. Okay. So they chant and they give the baby the energy because they're the two supernatural things, and they keep chanting. They're like, baby, 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 and the baby keeps growing and growing until it turns into one of the Island of the Alive babies, and it's super huge, and it's like a guar show, and it starts pummeling the old man, and he's like, oh shit, giant baby, and it just beats the shit out of him, tears his head off, and it's like, whoa, and they're like, yay, baby, and then it comes home with them, and it lives with them, and they have a giant baby.
Oh man.
And then it's a sitcom that lasts like 7 seasons.
And then
that's a better movie.
Then people would remember this movie a lot. This would get like a lot of press. Like, that's the movie where it's like a very traditional, pretty serious ghost story. And then at the end, there's just this giant baby wrestling a guy.
And that's the thing that I had a conversation with a friend of mine who he doesn't listen, so I think I'm safe.
Jerk.
He runs a comic company, and I was like, and he was having a hard time getting traction. And I was like, you need to have things that like surprise people or freak them out, or like the reason that Mark Millar gets the juice that he has is because even though he's just taken these dumb stories that everyone's heard a million times, he's like, it's the Flash, but he's on crack.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. And that's all he does. He adds one like aggressive, crazy element to an unknown story. And if you don't have that in comics and in genre films, they're very similar in that way. It's like they will be forgotten. And this movie is forgotten because it doesn't have anything big and goofy enough to really hit home an important whatever, I wish it had something. And the other part is the guy tries to be Sam Raimi, and you can't be Sam Raimi in a serious movie. You have to be Sam Raimi in a goofball movie. And this movie has too many heavy elements and takes itself too seriously to have Sam Raimi stuff in it. I'm looking at you, camera in the watch.
Yes. I also read the director blames its lack of success on the failing indie video store market at the time, which I'm not going to give him that.
No,
I'm sorry.
It's boring. The movie is boring. If
this movie had some good word of mouth, it would have moved off the shelf. Like,
well, and it's not even that. It's you know what? Ignore the fact that it's boring. It's the fact that it's just not a genre film. It's not meant for the market. This got marketed to what would have been a grindhouse market or like people who want schlocky movies.
Yep.
And there was
give us the
no
schlock.
blood, no boobs, no monster, no nothing.
There was a monster.
Sure, there
Guy was kind of a monster.
That's true.
Come on, I'm going to give it that.
He had hillbilly teeth, and no, he was actually scary.
2 monsters. The David Warner monster was there too, and David Warner is always great to see, and pops up in genre films all the time.
It was okay. It was awesome that we had Lee Ving in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I loved seeing him. Lead singer of Fear, Lee Ving, was in this, aka Mr. Body from Clue, and and David Warner, aka the guy who will do anything for a $50 paycheck.
Yeah, and the lead actor, I forgot his name. Paul Lamont, maybe it is.
I just call him H.R. Giger because he looks just like fucking H.R. Giger.
He was in a cool episode of the 1980s Twilight Zone that I enjoyed. So it was nice seeing him again.
Yeah,
I recognized him.
He's been in another Funbox movie but I don't remember what it was.
Oh shoot, you're right.
Yeah, we did something that had him in it, and I don't remember which one it was.
I like that guy.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's fine.
He's fine. He's just fine.
He's just fine. Yeah.
And he looks like fucking H.R. Giger, so he's got that going for him. Anyway, let's talk about the movie.
Okie dokies.
Even though we're going to be sorry we did. All right.
I'm sorry I'm here already.
Oh, that's because the place is so fucking hot.
Yeah, well, you were gung-ho on getting the heater running today.
Seriously, at 66, this place is freezing. At 67, it's boiling. I do not know what to do with the heater in here. Sorry. Anyway, okay. So the movie starts off pretty promising for a ghost movie. We've got creepy chanting children, a full moon, toy piano playing in the background. It's like, that's a fucking hat trick of horror movie cliches. It's like, we've got to, come on, that's great. It's classic for a reason. Love it. We're out in front of a diner, and a chyron reads 3 months ago.
Okay.
Some guy wanders out in the street, seemingly intentionally trying to get run over, but we find out later he's just very drunk all the time. And we cut inside the car to see that there's a terrified woman driving a bloody, semi-conscious man and looking out for potential pursuers, it appears. 2 of these elements do not make sense once we find out what happened later on in this movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that don't
jive with the rest of the movie.
Unless they do make sense, and I'm too dumb to pick them up. But
okay, so at the end, the reason that we have this oh God, we can't talk about this without revealing all the secrets. It's her father. All this. By the way, there's a sexual assault in this, so we have to get that out of the way. We're not going to talk too much about it, but
I don't want to talk too much.
It's just it happened in the past. It doesn't happen in the movie, but it's the main focus of the movie.
Funsies.
Yeah, I know. Another great choice by us. But she winds up cutting the guy's fucking head off.
I guess.
And that's why his ghost is headless.
I would love to see this freaking scene of her cutting his head off.
Well, I mean, we do see it.
When?
So he goes to bury the child.
Yeah.
He has allegedly buried the child. And she says,
we see the head whack. Did I somehow miss this?
Yeah, she grabs that giant cleaver.
Oh.
And he turns around, he's laughing, and then he goes, what? And just before she goes, whack.
No, okay, I guess I...
And so what we see in the car, which is allegedly after that, is a guy who looks like, I don't know, he got into a bar fight. He's kind of bloody. She's got blood on her hands, like on her knuckles.
Okay.
Like she scraped her hands on something. But in no way does she look like she just got covered in the blood of someone she beheaded, and he clearly has a head. So these are problems for me later on in this movie.
Yes.
Anyway.
I don't know how I missed that whack.
Very strange. Okay, so whatever. The man wakes up and tries to strangle her. Not a thing he could do if he had no head. Again. And so she's like, oh shit. So she jumps out of the car, leaves it running. It drives into a giant rock on the side of the road. He puts his hands up in international, oh my God, the car's crashing, I'm going to die, toonces the driving cat.
What does he care? He's already dead.
Apparently he's not. I don't know. They changed their mind about a bunch of things in this movie. There's an ADR in the middle of this movie where it feels like they changed the idea of what it's about. There was that line where they're like, we have to find his head or else something. And that was like the only time they mention it. So, yeah, I don't know. This movie is confusing.
Oh, we also complained earlier, too, about how the fact that, like, she knows who this ghost is but won't say it, which probably could have saved everybody a whole hell of a lot of time.
It's, yeah, for a mystery, you kind of need... a real reason. And in this, there's no reason. It's just because she decides to not tell him.
Yeah, they don't give her amnesia or anything. It's not like she can't remember. She's just a jerk.
She's just holding the information back.
She is the shittiest lead character I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. Because she's
just complainy. She's a pickle puss all the time.
Yeah.
I don't get her. I don't get her motivate. I don't get why she even brought this dude into this thing. Like,
that's the biggest problem.
I thought that would be like a twist at the end, like, oh, I was luring this professor here to do something. Like, no, like she really wanted his help, but then wouldn't give him any freaking help once he drove all the way there.
She cuts him.
She wasn't even going to let him stay the night.
She cuts him a $5,000 check, and the second he shows up, she's like, "Get the fuck out of my house!"
And she just walks away without even like anything after that scene. Oh, that scene sucks. The freaking coffee cup drives me nuts.
Yep, that is weird. Again, I thought he was a ghost, but okay. Anyway, she imagines our main character, I guess.
Dude, what is this dissolve?
The guy's doing cool stuff with film. Like he has a lot of ideas, and he's doing a lot of things. They just, unfortunately, they don't mean anything.
Well, this thing would mean something if these characters were connected at all.
Right.
But they're not at this point.
Nope. It's as though she's having one of those, like, those moments like in the high school photos.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of my significant other, or I'm thinking of myself in a Cub Scout outfit or something.
I'm thinking of a college professor who teaches classes on ghosts that I'm going to seek out 3 months from this day.
Who's drunk and half asleep, and I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot about that too. Okay, whatever. Lights go up, and we see this guy who fades into frame, and he's named David. He's our main character. He's asleep in his office, and he's basically, if you didn't know later on what was going on, you would assume that he's just a drunk.
Yeah, he looks so hungover
all the time.
I don't know if it's the makeup or what the guy actually looks like, or is he just acting it? But like, if he's trying to act like hungover and sleep deprived, dude's nailing it.
Well, and later on, he does the universal drunk hungover thing, which is using the electric razor, like
while he's driving.
The 80s.
Yeah.
Like you use an electric razor in some place that's not your bathroom.
Yep.
Oh, man.
You're
he's
a
like,
drunk.
Oh, you must be a drunk.
Shaving on the way to the job interview.
Yep. So, okay. He's asleep in his office as Darla, who is basically the platonic ideal of a hot 80s girl. Nails it.
She totally nails it. And once she popped in, just reading the box and looking at this, I thought it was going to be kind of a dry affair. Yes. And then we started, and then she came in, and she's like basically mooning the camera and giving titillation, and she's bouncy, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to be a fun, bouncy movie. But she's only in the whole thing for, 5 minutes or so?
She comes back at the end.
She comes back at the end, but like she doesn't do anything.
No, she doesn't.
But it's like she gave me a ray of hope in the beginning because I liked her and she lit up the screen.
Yeah, as an actress, she is the most interesting thing in the movie.
Yeah.
And they do not give her any chance to be there. She's the only fun thing in the movie, too.
Yes.
Because she's giving this really fun Linnea Quigley in Night of the Demons performance where she's just bubbly and like jokey. Hyper-sexualized, even in her
some
answering
reason
machine.
It is all about David.
She loves that old drunk.
Yeah.
I mean, when he calls her eventually and gets her answering machine, she's pretty much down for everybody that she meets. She's like, unless it's about sex, and then we can talk, or whatever it was. Like, lady, calm down. Anyway, so she's David's assistant, the old drunk who looks like H.R. Giger, and he goes to class where he teaches a class on ghosts. He basically explains in the class that he's a researcher in the paranormal, and we get a picture of David Warner being possessed by a ghost that will come into,
That's
we'll see
foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing of David Warner existing later on. The class ends, and Darla grabs David in the hallway and says she has a pretty intense message for him.
Major rejecto, dude.
Major rejecto, dude. You are not going to get your grant for this bullshit pseudoscience class you teach.
Because all you've done is write 5 papers on your dead ex-wife.
And this... I've never seen... The most privileged thing I've ever seen in my entire life is a dude walking into the dean's office and sitting down and being like, what the hell, man? I'm your number one... ghost teacher, the class that everybody needs to graduate college, that they're all going to need when they leave and go into the real world.
And I have good rapport with my students.
Of course you do. You have a bullshit class that they all sleep through. I know documentary class was great because everybody gets an A by watching the documentary. But you know what? They don't like you because you're a great teacher. They like you because you lighten their load. That's the one class there's no fucking homework for because ghosts don't fucking exist. Anyway.
I don't believe in ghosts, but I know they're evil. That line comes up later. This is one of my favorites.
She's pretty funny. Okay, so... Okay, so we find out that David is obsessed with his dead wife. He's done the 5 papers on her, and the school thinks maybe you should give it a rest. Because seriously, how is he not
I'm going to write that
yet?
6th one, and it's going to totally get me bed cramp.
This is going to change the world. Once people see my new perspective on my dead wife, it's going to change things in the
I
field
Miss My Dead Wife, Part 6
of
Section B.
ghostology. That's going to really change it. But David goes back into his office to sulk, and a woman bursts in and says, I don't believe what you said in class. All ghosts are evil. Now come with me to the mall, and we'll go to the Panda Express and get coffee. Which is
what they do.
Exactly what they do. She shows him a brochure for her bed and breakfast. And she says, I'm hearing ghosts, creaky noises, footsteps. Have any of the guests heard it? No, just me. Guests never hear anything. We later find out there are no guests.
There hasn't been a guest.
Which would have been helpful information. She's very bad at explaining anything. And David's like, let me guess. You're here to get my approval so that you can charge more for rooms that are haunted. Well, I'm tired of that. And she's like, here's a $5,000 check. And he's like, what I mean is, it sounds very much like you have an interesting case that could really forward the field of paranormal science. Let me get my bags. She's really nervous. Actually, what sells it is she's got bite marks in the cup, and she's really nervous. She spills her coffee. She's jittery.
There's something about this whole scene that just bothered, like the coffee bothers me. Like he keeps asking her questions, and every time she asks a question, like she gets a little bit, it keeps doing this close up of the coffee and gets a little more jittery, spills a little drop, then finally asks like the real question, like, do you know who it is or whatever it is? Then she just like crushes the coffee cup.
Yeah.
With the full coffee cup, spilling it everywhere. Like, I don't care how stressed you are.
Yeah.
People don't do that, man. It's so goofy. But it's like, the thing is, it would work if this was a comedy. But like,
it's ham-handed.
I'm supposed to believe that somebody's just like that twitchy that they're just gonna be like,
yes, no, it's over the top, but it does work to explain her situation. I feel like at least it is narratively getting across the thing we want to get across here. It's silly, but it does narratively function. Okay.
But then she just walks out.
Well, she goes for napkins.
Yeah, but then just decides to duck.
But that's like, I think so.
So who just leaves $5,000 with somebody? It doesn't even give like any directions or like schedule a time or anything. Like, man, what?
I mean, again, this is why I thought she was a ghost.
Oh, because ghosts don't care about money.
Well, because she disappeared.
Oh, I see.
Because, like, literally, it wasn't as though she walked out. They did a really good job. I mean, I think this is a red herring. I think it is intentional that when you have a ghost story,
I thought we saw her walk out the door. No?
No, we literally, he just looked, he's like, wait.
No, I thought we saw her in the crowd.
Oh, maybe.
Walking away.
Or maybe I was just expecting everyone's a ghost, but.
You really gotta get off the ghost kick.
Yeah. Spoken like a ghost.
Got me.
We listened back to the podcast. It's just me talking
just
to
you
myself. Like every podcast. Hey! Anyway, okay. Okay, so he drives to the haunted B&B, and he does the shaving while he's driving, shorthand for guy whose life is falling apart. And
he makes a stop first at Homer's Spa.
Is that really what it's called?
That's really what it's called.
Does he make it up? Okay.
No.
And this is actually kind of interesting because this is the place where the accident happened we saw at the beginning. He goes in, and again, in this way that they're kind of teasing the idea of him maybe being a ghost, fucking nobody talks to him. Like, he walks through the room like he is a ghost. He is just kind of walking in, and he's like, hey there, leaving. I really liked the first Fear record. The rest of them are kind of bad. Also, they're kind of homophobic, but you know, whatever. And he's like, I get that a lot. Whatever. I'm not even going to talk to you. And then he keeps going. And like the people at the table don't talk to him. And then he goes up. He finally talks to the guy behind the counter. I guess Al.
That's Homer.
Sorry. Yes.
It's Homer Spa.
It's Homer Spa.
That's Homer.
Talks to Homer, and he says, he's like, hey, I need to find whatever this place
Homestead
is.
House.
Homestead House, that's what it is. And
the hottest new B&B on the market.
Heard
it's haunted.
I heard that she's not accommodating. In fact, I've heard she's about as accommodating as a whore on Judgment Day. Which took me way too long to like.
Yeah, I also dwelled on that line.
I just kind of like my brain just kind of shut down for a minute, and I was like, "Oh, I get it." Like, okay, so she probably doesn't want to do business because that's the time when people are being judged for their sins.
Then your brain was like, "I'm just still gonna stay off."
This is still a fucking terrible, terrible, terrible line. So whatever. Okay, anyway, David eventually finds the place without help from Homer. He didn't even need to stop.
No.
And
and Homer also says she lost her head here, right? Or is that later? Oh, that's later on, I think.
oh, is that true? Okay.
Homer said, yeah, when mentioning, that's when the birth certificates and everything get delivered to
Yes.
Homer for some ass reason.
I don't know.
Send my mail to this hotel that I'm not staying at, please.
Small town nonsense. But the stopover was probably just an excuse for us to see Lee Ving and know that he was threatening, because we wanted to establish him because he's an important part of the movie later on. Because he's also kind of the red herring, because if you're going to... Because he's obsessed with...
Picklepuss.
Whatever her name is.
Picklepuss.
Yeah, our main female character. And we find out that there's a rapist involved in this story, and we're like, this dude. It's this dude. This fucking dude. Like, if you're going to point out somebody who's going to be a criminal of any kind, you're like, it's Lee Ving. This dude just like reeks of some dude who's doing terrible shit. But anyway, David walks into the inn like kind of a dick. Nobody's there. He just wanders through, goes up into the bedroom, and
this blows my mind. Like, he goes to she doesn't answer the door, so he just walks in and not just. I mean, I understand opening the door and be like, "Hello, anybody here?" But he just walks through the whole house. He goes upstairs.
Yeah, that's weird. Like, going into the house, it's like, okay, sure, it's
a big house. Maybe open the door and just yell in. Yeah,
it's not a home. Like, you would assume the entryway is like a foyer where you would go to sign in for your room or whatever. That's not out of the ordinary. But he then wanders up into her personal bedroom.
Yeah,
like flips through stuff. I will give this movie a lot of credit for the gothic ambiance of everything. They do the lace curtain thing. There's a lot of lace curtains blowing in the wind. It looks really nice.
Yep.
And there's a really good scene of the wind blowing a book and the pages are flipping as though a ghost is reading it. And
nice.
There's some cool little ideas.
Because a ghost is reading it. Or a ghost at least picks it up.
Yeah, I don't really know, but either way,
eventually she finds him. She walks in on him sniffing her underwear.
But okay, no, she's got there's a paper where she's circled a bunch of shit in the classifieds, but she's covered it up with like a lace pink nightie, and David moves it. And instead of like pushing it aside like a sane, normal, not weirdo, not creepo, he has it in his hand when she walks in. And instead of like putting it down, he's like, hi, and just keeps it in his hand. And basically...
And then she walks away and he starts inspecting it.
Creepo. Fucking creepo. Anyway,
but yeah,
she's like, get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah, she is rip shit that he is there. Yeah. She is rip shit that the guy she gave $5,000 to help her showed up to help her.
Yep, she is so mad about that.
He's kind of, barging in and walking around, which is kind of weird. But at the same time, like, she never demands her money back, which is odd.
I mean,
if she's that pissed, like...
I couldn't tell if it was like, you are a creep. Like if she was mad that he was like fondling her silky under things or whatever, like, is that the deal? Because I mean, it was fairly clear that he wasn't doing that. If he was like sniffing them or something when she walks in.
I feel they should have made him do that.
Yeah, he should have done something weird.
Yeah,
because if that was
something that could have been construed like she came in, it looked like that, but it wasn't.
Wouldn't that have been cool?
Yeah,
like then
it's like, oh, you're not the guy I thought you really were. Get out, please.
Yeah, yeah.
But instead, it's just like, oh, you came to help me. Fuck off.
If she had even just said, "You fucking creep, get out of here," and he was like, "But no, I was just looking at the classified ads that you had circled here, and I mean, whoa, could I wear it? I mean, not wear it. I don't want to wear it. Could I wear your skin? I don't mean your skin. I just want to stay the night."
I want that scene so bad right now.
But no, instead she just acts totally crazy for no reason.
And just like at the restaurant, she just walks away.
Yeah,
she's like, away. "Oh, okay, we're in the middle of something. Bye."
And
he's like, "She's beautiful. I want her so bad. She's all bitchy and weird."
I guess he's into that sort of thing. She says, "I'm so sorry you made the trip for no reason." He's like, "I'm not gonna make it back tonight. I've got no choice but to stay here." She's like, "Okay, you could stay one night." he's like, and I'm hungry. Okay, and you can eat my food. And so she makes food. She makes like a really nice dinner for them. He gets creeped out because she's serving venison. He's like, I'll eat a cow steak. Oh my God, it's deer. Oh
yeah. He acts like he's eating a person,
bro.
She's like, oh, do you like the steak? Yes, I love it. Oh, most people don't like venison. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, that joke would work if it was a skunk steak. You know what I mean? Like,
most people don't enjoy squirrel steak.
Skunks get hit all the time out front here, and you don't even smell it when you're eating them. Like, that would work then. Why are you freaked out about venison, bro?
I'm really going to miss that cat.
Ooh, a skunk steak is hard to say.
Skunk steak.
If it was a thing, I would call it skake.
Skake. Yes. Or skink. Anyway, okay, so David calls Darla and gets her way too horny answering machine message and sends her out to research the previous owners of the inn while he's talking to her. Some dude in a pickup, which we later learn is Lee Ving, pulls up, and they have he and Picklepuss have an angry back and forth, yelling at each other, and that's sort of going on in the background. We don't hear any of the words that they're saying, but we know that there's some sort of confrontation going on. But it's not bad enough that he feels like he needs to go outside. He's just kind of watching it, and. So then we cut to the kitchen where she's viciously cleaning a cleaver, which we find out later is the thing she cut her dad's head off with. So that's kind of weird that she's still cooking with it. Anyway, she sends David out for wood. He cuts some wood, and we hear crying children in the wind. Ooh. Then we cut to a pleasant dinner, and it turns out that her Airbnb has a lovely table for 2 people.
She's just opening it. She didn't think this far ahead.
I feel like she may not have planned very well. That kitchen has like one tiny table in it, and it only seats 2 people. Well, it's a romantic getaway if you go there. Maybe she charges a hell of a lot of money. Who knows? Okay, she serves him wine. Did you understand what was going on in this scene? Because I could not figure it out to save my life.
What's up?
Okay. They're having dinner.
Yep.
She serves him wine. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, yeah, look over there. And he pours the wine into her ficus.
Oh, yeah. I did not get that.
And then it's like, and then he drops a fork on the floor to distract her, as though he's distracted. And she's about to pour her wine in the ficus. And he catches her and he's like, aha, I see what's going on. And it's like, but I don't.
But I don't either.
The viewer doesn't know what's going on.
And then 5 minutes later, they're like, let's play a drinking game. Like, why are you dumping your drinks if you're just going to play a drinking game?
But she's not going to drink. Only he drinks. She wants him drunk for reasons I cannot possibly understand. But I understand why he wants her to tell him things.
Yeah,
because she refuses to fucking tell him anything when all she wants him to do is research this fucking haunting.
Yeah, but he wants to get drunk because he says... So why is he even... I don't know.
I don't understand any of it. They play quarters. This is it's
God,
how
why are they playing quarters? There's just 2 of them. Like, what?
The only reason that this is happening is because the premise that she's not... The conceit that she refuses to talk to him about the situation is so flimsy that they need to make these tiny little bottlenecks where they can squeak out tiny little bits of information. Because if like moment 1 when they met, she said, I was raped by my father, I killed him, he buried my child in the backyard, and now I'm haunted. They would have gone, oh, we just need to find where it is, bring the baby to consecrated ground, and things over.
Coming in hot with those spoilers, son.
Yeah, sorry, but I mean, but that's the thing. She knows everything.
Yeah.
She isn't having... And you even could have had her have a memory problem where she's blocking it out, but she's not blocking it out. She knows what's going on.
She's just a jerk.
She's just because the story is... the only reason there's a movie is because she doesn't say it.
Yeah.
And there's no reason for her not to say it. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So we find out some things. You know, trickle out a couple of little dumb ideas. I could not believe this shot. One of the most unbelievable thing, it was like practically a spinning paper straight out of the 20s. It's like time passes, fucking goes over to the clock like we're in a like 1940s
and the clock just starts
general
going fast.
hospital.
Yeah.
And the clock, what? I seriously, the only time I've ever seen that is in like a general hospital in black and white.
Yep.
You know, like that is not a
Or
modern,
Looney Tunes.
maybe Looney Tunes, but
Yeah.
like to show the passage of time, that is cuckoo.
They get crazy with the clocks in this one.
They do. Again, there's so much. He tries so hard and he does so many cool things, and there are so many. Listen, as I've said a million times before, making a movie is fucking hard.
Yeah.
It is impossibly difficult to make a movie, and to make a movie on this level. When I criticize a movie as much as I am that is at the level that this is, you're literally talking about professional baseball players basically at this point. It's like, this pro ball player sucks. Let me just say, he sucks for a pro ball player.
Yeah.
He managed to make a cohesive story. Like, the scenes look cool. He had cool angles, the lighting, like everything. It's really good. It's just boring.
Yes.
That's the only problem. And the story is annoying in places because of choices that were made.
And it's also
And
the
there's
story. The
little
story.
things.
I don't think the story is that boring. I think once you get to the meat of it at the end and you start filling in that's when it gets boring, because then you're just like, wait, what? Then nothing makes sense when you're just like,
Right.
why didn't she just drop these knowledge bombs in the first part, except.
And that's it. And that's.
But like
I
you
think
said, there
that's
wouldn't be a
why-
movie if she didn't, but there's no reason for it. So then it just
Right.
makes you angry.
It makes you angry. And that's, I think, what is at the heart of why I don't enjoy this movie, is the fact that it is so close to being a good movie. Like,
the potential's there.
Like, this movie had such a potential to be like a legitimately good movie. And it's just because of like maybe 5 choices that were just little things that could have gone either way. And at the time, if I was making the choices, I would have gone, no, fucking flip a coin. And he made the mistake, and it just unfortunately fucked the movie, as far as I can tell. That's just how it feels to me. So, like, I don't really blame him for creative choices. It's just annoying when you get to that point. You're like,
Yep.
movie, do better. And I mean, like, because you're not this annoyed at The Room. You're not this annoyed at a movie that's like incompetent. You get this annoyed at a movie that is at a high level of competency and then just makes what seems like obvious mistakes. That's why, I think, personally.
Yes.
Okay. Like, I was never mad at Lamageddon.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, you're mad at this because it has so much potential. Not living up to potential. See me after class. Okay. He reveals his tragic loss of his wife in an accident. Or was it an accident? She killed herself with sleeping pills because she had a stillborn baby. They have something in common. Oh, the pieces are all fitting together. He says he's going to crash, and through a beautiful fucking edit.
That was good.
This, like, I mean, beautiful. That was like,
Yep.
holy shit. You can't take it away from that thing. He basically looks like he's falling out of his chair and he falls directly into bed. Woo!
Yep.
That was one of my second favorite transitions in one of my top 5, I would say, in one of these
Yeah, it was great.
shitty movies. Number 1, Bloodsucking Pharaohs in Pittsburgh when a taxi goes past.
I've never seen that movie.
Great. It's a great movie. Well, I mean, it's a great crappy movie, but it has one of the best edits I've ever seen. Anyway, okay. So he wakes up in the middle of the night to see the lady that he's staying with digging in the garden. He's still drunk, so he's like, fuck this doesn't concern me, and goes back to sleep. In the morning, we get what points to where this movie could have gone if we had done this as a fun, silly, dumb horror movie.
Oh, we had the eggs?
We're so close. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. In the morning, he's hanging out in the kitchen drinking coffee, and he opens the refrigerator to get some milk for his coffee, and he drops an egg on the floor, and he's like,
Whoops.
wait a minute. There's no eggs in the refrigerator. He looks over at the table. the eggs are over on the table in a little basket. And then one of them floats up and then smashes on the ground. And he's like, well, that's strange. Eggs don't normally do that. And then he's like, I'm going to examine this closer. Smash! Egg hits him in the face.
Egg flies up and hits him in the face, but we don't see the impact. So it's just like we see the egg fly, and then we just see his face like covered in egg.
Plastered with egg.
And it looks hilarious.
It is hilarious.
It is.
His face is like, because it's so what a makeup artist does
to
make it look like you got hit with egg so that they can have continuity for repeated shots, because there's like little pieces of shell
everywhere,
like spirit gum to his face in specific places.
I wish he wore that for the whole rest of the movie.
You know, that's yet another thing that could have salvaged this movie for me. Okay. He's like, well, fucking A. We got our poltergeist moment, and so he's like, let's Haunting of Hill House this shit.
Bust out all the ghosting equipment that we won't do anything with.
He's like, let me just get this 3 van loads of computer equipment that I stuck in the trunk of my convertible. Sure.
Well, I guess they do something with it. They do.
His trunk's like a TARDIS.
They do see the headless ghost walking down the stairs, which is cool.
He's got some great computer imaging software too. That's so fun. Anyway, okay, so she's mad about this because of course she is. She's like, why did you bring computer equipment? I gave you $5,000 to stay in this house and eat food. That's all. And he's like, there's a ghost and I'm going to do something about it. And then they hear something outside. There's a creaky screaming noise outdoors, and they go outside, and an axe weirdly flies through the air. And
this effing scene. Yeah, they hear the noise. They go outside. They look straight ahead and see nothing. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, this axe, the same axe he was kidding, flies up and goes right into the post of the porch.
Yep.
And we find out it's thrown by Li Ving.
Do we?
Yes, he snickers away and runs away afterwards.
That's the thing, is that we see that he's snickering and that he's out there. I didn't know that those scenes
wasn't I just threw an axe snicker.
How is he Thor?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like he would have, for them not to have seen him throw that axe.
He had to be a
football field away, but he's not. So like what? Like how do they not see that? And Li Ving is crushing over Pickle Puss this whole time.
Yes.
I mean, he is also a big drunk, so like maybe he didn't take it into consideration. But like, are you a professional axe thrower? You just lobbed an axe at 2 people. That doesn't seem like his shtick. He's constantly going over there talking. He's like, I'm gonna go fix her pipes. I'm just gonna chuck an axe at her house too. That'll endear me to her.
I gotta say, Li Ving does not strike me as somebody who knows what females want out of their love interests. He doesn't seem to have that ability to discern. But whatever. If that is him and not a ghost, fine. But it does.
It was him. There's no reason to show him if it wasn't him. Like then it would just be the ghost, and like who knows where the axe came from? It was a ghost. But no, since I showed him, it's got to be him that chucked the axe.
How would they not see him? That's all.
That's what makes me mad.
Fair. Okay. Let's see. They have a really boring conversation in the living room.
Which one?
The one where they're just sitting there while a ghost floats a record out and puts it on the turntable. And his reaction to proof of the supernatural is like, oh, see?
Yep.
He just put on Fleur de Lis. Pretty cool.
Classic ghost move.
Classic ghost.
Ghosts love classical.
Also, does this dad seem like he's a big classical fan?
No, and this was another thing that bothered me, because this is the start of the nightly cycle.
Yes.
Where the dad puts on the record, he grabs the book, you know what I mean? We see him do this in physical form later on. But like, how much more effective would this scene be if he just put on some 70s rock? You know what I mean? They found like a cool song or some, you know what I mean? Like or an eerie old rock folk song, something that just... Because him putting
outlaw country.
Yeah,
this
something
guy's
like that.
An outlaw country guy.
Him putting on, what's that, Mozart?
Yes.
Yeah, just...
Beethoven.
Or Beethoven?
Yeah.
Who cares? Hey, just him putting on that doesn't
Whichever one was the
work.
big dog.
Yeah.
That irritated Charles Grodin.
Okay, that's Beethoven.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's the one. Yeah, it's stupid. It's really weird.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I mean, put on an eerie
Sure,
folk song or something.
Yeah, like an Appalachian kind
something
of thing.
that you would actually listen to.
Yeah.
Maybe some Ozark Mountain Daredevils. They're always fun.
Sure. I mean, probably don't want to bring the whole incest hillbilly thing to a... I think they're trying to avoid that angle, but whatever. Okay, so... Yeah, she says, "It's begun," as if the floating fucking record didn't give it away. But we hear footsteps clumping up the stairs. And they follow and breathe hard in the dark for like fucking 10 minutes. Oh my God. And he talks to it. He talks to the ghost, and then the door slams. And here is another problem with this movie. This happens in a lot of movies where you have like a super cool main character. It's the Conjuring movies suffer from this too, where it's like, I'm like the superhero, supernatural guy, and it's like something fucking terrifying is happening. And he's like, yeah, you know that happens, let me explain it away. And it's like, stop. If you're not scared of this, I'm not scared of this.
Yep.
You're telling me how to react. Be afraid.
Yeah.
If you're just like, bro, you know what? It's no big deal. It's like, then okay. I'm not going to be fucking
I'm not
scared
concerned
of
at all anymore.
This stuff could be scary.
Yep.
If he would react like if anybody was giving us any kind of fucking fear reaction.
Yep.
But he's just like, wow, this is neat.
Even she, who keeps talking about it, doesn't even care.
She doesn't care.
She's
either.
like, oh, it's begun again.
Yep.
Watch it. I got the record. Cue the book.
yep.
Cue the fireplace.
This thing again.
And the boot stomps.
Yep.
And out the front door.
And
out to bury baby. Bye.
We cut to the we cut to the computer, and we see this hilarious graphic.
I love that.
of someone walking up the stairs, and it's like
we would have so much proof of ghosts if the ghost shit worked like that.
It's so good because especially because what it looks like a pair of pants walking up the stairs. Like what they're imaging is
the
just
headless
the legs.
ghost vector
program.
graph.
Yeah, Adobe released that in the early 90s.
It proved ghosts everywhere.
That's why we all know that ghosts are real. And we all know the true religion, which is anyway, okay.
That's the one.
That's the one. Okay, so Iris doesn't remember who the person is, or does she?
Oh, she does. Freaking pickle puss.
So he's going to hypnotize her. Oh, boy.
Here comes your shot.
Here comes the best shot in the movie that is annoying. We see we see from behind the face of the watch. We have all the numbers and the dial and everything, and the camera swings back and forth.
It's like being inside Michael Myers' mask, only he's inside the stopwatch. So we see all the backwards numbers. We look out, and it's
such a good shot, but it also means nothing.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like I respect the effort.
Yes, absolutely.
But man, it's just like once you see it, you're like, okay. All right, get off this.
That's some silly shit. Okay, so he takes her back to the night the spirit first appeared. She says he called her name, so she recognized him. She still refuses to say who it is because there's too much pain. And she starts screaming as if she were confronting her killer. Maybe she's a ghost, but she's not. Anyway, next day, David goes to the local convenience store to pick up his overnight express package.
Because he got it delivered there.
And he starts looking at the deeds and whatnot, and is ignoring the old man who is literally telling him everything he needs to know about this situation. He could have just asked the old dumbass, but instead he orders this stuff away. And about halfway through, he's like, maybe I should be paying attention to this complete history of the house that this old man is telling me. He's like, two spinsters built it. They lived there and they died there, blah, blah, blah. He tells David about the car crash where someone was decapitated. You know, he says that. But again, we saw her swing a fucking meat cleaver at his neck. So, no, I refuse. I refuse to believe that he was decapitated.
Maybe she didn't lop the head fully off, and then the car crash finish the job.
Sure, I feel like a lot of this is pasted together. That ADR when they're like, we have to find his head. It's like, that makes me feel like a lot of that was kind of not right. But whatever. Shopkeeper makes a dumb vampire joke about him carrying garlic or whatever. David asks for a plumber snake to fix the water pump at the inn, and the shopkeeper asks he just looks at him and he's like,
yeah.
Did you just ask me for the keys to the Pharaoh's crypt? There's a curse on it. Or like, oh, you want an ignition switch for an atom bomb? My God, no. Crazy. It's as if he knew that the severed head was in the fucking water pump.
Yeah. I think this scene, I think he didn't realize that he was staying there. And then once he realized he was staying there, that's like the not cool thing to do because she sucks so much.
Because his son is into the lady.
Is that his son?
That is his son.
Leaving's
Leaving
his
is
son?
his kid.
What?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, how'd I miss that? I miss a lot of things in this movie.
Hey, I missed a lot of things too. But yeah, Leaving is the guy's son.
Okay. That's why he doesn't mind when he walks over to the bar and takes a beer later on.
Yep.
Okay, I thought that was just like
because he needed 2 6-packs of beer to go install a water pump. Okay, so
well, I mean, she's known for playing quarters, so he's got to have lots of drink for that.
Good point. You want to be wicked drunk when you start playing quarters. That way you die. But for Leaving, wouldn't be such a loss. Anyway,
he's probably listening to this too.
Oh, I don't mean Leaving the actual person. I mean the actor. No, wait. No, I mean the character.
I mean Leaving.
I mean some of those fucking Fear songs are really fucking misogynistic and really fucking homophobic. I have a feeling that he's changed his tune since then, but
good for
him. It was the 70s. Maybe he's learned some things since then.
I haven't.
Yes, you have.
I know.
Were you even born in the 70s?
I was not.
I didn't think so. Anyway, okay, so Leaving hits him in the face with the door on the way out.
Yeah, bonk.
And we assume he goes unconscious, and when he wakes up, he's at the inn.
And he's got like a bloody nose.
He's got a bloody nose. They're like they're in the bathroom at the inn, and she's taking care of him. And we also see him looking at pills. We know that his wife killed herself with pills.
Oh, this part cracked me up because she was getting a Band-Aid for him and ended up knocking out the prescription bottle. And he just picks it up and starts reading it. Like, could you imagine doing that at somebody's house?
No,
like,
I can't.
Oops, I dropped my meds. Oh, what did you taking?
Neat.
Neat.
You want to trade?
Yeah.
I've got some good ones
go
too.
grab my pharmacy bag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was weird, dude.
This
guy just sucks, man. He's like sniffing her nightgown. He's looking at her pills right in front of her. Like, this guy has no ethics.
Oh, and later on, it gets worse. So, okay, she's like, all the Ghostbuster shit starts going nuts, and she's like, no one must know. Which is just ridiculous writing. But David follows a spooky glow into the attic, and toys start floating around, and a Victorian baby carriage rolls past, like the child that...
It's like you're going through a haunt.
And also, it is like you're going through a haunt, and it's like, oh, all of the baby's toys and everything, and it's like, no, she gave birth, and he killed the baby instantly.
So,
no.
Unless she went on a gigantic toy shopping spree.
This might have been. She might have also had like a fucking A.
What the hell?
Fucking A. Whatever. Anyway, so she passes out.
This cracked me up too. Yeah, this cracked me up. She commits suicide.
But it's like,
but she walks up there.
And she says, no one must know, and holding the pill.
Holding the pill bottle, and she's like, no one must find the truth. But I die now. Clunk. And she just falls. Like, if she was committing suicide, she's like, I just got to go up to that attic and just drop a one-liner before I go.
You got to make sure.
What?
We also find out that the adoption information is there for baby Norwood. Wait, her name is Norwood.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, of course it's Baby Norwood.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
But no.
Wait, what? Why is this significant? It shouldn't be. Anyway,
Because there's no baby.
Yes. Okay, so it turns out she's taken a buttload of Valium, but David got her to the hospital in time for them to pump her stomach, get it out of her system, and then David gets super fucking lucky here because he finds the one doctor who has, like, I don't know, she was playing with a nail gun, and she put a nail into her head, into the place that allows patient confidentiality.
Yeah, all HIPAA, by the way, is right out the window.
And she's like, oh, you mean the rape?
Yeah.
What? She mentions this, like, private, unbelievably private information to a complete fucking stranger.
And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were family. That doesn't make it a difference.
No, that makes it almost worse. Like, if she wants it confidential, she wants it confidential. Fucking shut the fuck up, lady. You are bad at your job. And she's like, you'll never get any more information out of me. And it's like, unless some other random person that you've never met before comes up and talks to you, in which case you'll volunteer anything.
He's like, you've treated her before, right? I saw your name on a pill bottle. She's like, yes. Oh, yeah, that's what I wrote on the script for. Boop, 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 boop,
yeah.
boop, boop.
Oh, neat.
You are a bad nurse.
You are. She's a doctor, but she's a bad doctor. Anyway, okay, so he lies and says he's from the adoption agency, and he's like, I just wanted to find out.
He's quick on his feet with that lie.
He's good at lying. And he's like, yeah, we just wanted to know the name of the father. And she's like, you'll never get any confidential information out of me except for the stuff that you got already. That was an oopsie on my part.
Gimme.
That part's a gimme. The rest of it, nope, because she doesn't know it. Nobody knows who the father is. But he goes out into the hallway, calls his assistant on a payphone, and Li Ving comes in holding flowers.
Yeah, he's
again pushing the idea that he's the criminal. He's the one that did this. He's the assailant. You know, like...
It wasn't pushing that idea. It was pushing the idea that he's still trying to... So, my question here, it still doesn't make sense. Like, no, she was hurt and in the hospital from the suicide attempt, and he was coming to bring her flowers. How the hell would he know that she was in the hospital?
This happened seconds ago.
He drove her to the hospital from the inn. Like,
it's a small town.
Yeah. Doesn't make sense.
I don't know.
And Li Ving just gets all pissed and throws his flowers in the laundry cart, and he's like, I guess this guy's still after him.
Which doesn't, like, that doesn't ring true to the person that I think he is. Like, I would see him throwing the flowers so he doesn't look weak, but then he would come over, grab David, and beat the crap out of him. He's already hit him in the face with a door once.
That would be a fun movie.
Oh, right. That would be a fun version of this movie, would be him getting into a fight with him and threatening him. So...
You still think he'd deliver the flowers, be like, dude, this guy has been bugging you so much you tried to off yourself. I'm here with flowers. I'm obviously the guy you should be with.
Yep. David goes in to visit her, and she's instantly forgiven him for all of the terrible things that he's doing, and holds his hand. Maybe she's still got a little bit of Valium in her system, so she's not thinking clearly. But he's like, I just want to know who the father is. And that I don't understand.
What's up?
Why? Why does he care? Why does it matter?
Who the father is?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, all of this is factoring into what's haunting the house.
What is her motivation at this point?
Hers?
Yeah, hers.
Oh, God, I don't know, man.
I don't know what her motivation is.
She lured this guy out there to help, then fought him every step of the way.
Right.
And he's trying to figure out information about the baby, because I guess that seems important. Like, I don't know.
Whatever.
She didn't talk about it. It's not like the baby could be all grown up and moved out, for all we know, right?
Right, exactly. We don't know about we don't know anything at this point. So Li Ving is at the bar, acting like a total psycho, and he's like, I don't understand. I've done everything. I threw an axe at her, and she still doesn't love me. And his dad's like, well, she's been bitching about that water pump. Maybe you go fix that and she'll love you. And he's like, what is it, 2 a.m? Perfect. I'll go out there and I'll fix her water pump drunk as a fucking skunk at 2 a.m.
This is a good idea.
Ladies love that, right?
Yeah. To be fair, that is an idea a drunk person would,
I guess,
carry out.
I can't imagine.
I've done some pretty stupid things. I've never fixed anybody's stranger's water pump, but
I don't feel like I've ever done anything that helpful when I was drunk.
yeah.
But I wish that was what people did when they got drunk. Instead of like getting into bar fights and shit, they just go out and repair stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's a pothole on Route 3 I really need to fix.
I'm fucking wasted. I got a bucket of soap and a garden hose. Who wants me to wash their car?
This is a much better world. Anyway, so
I'm gonna clean your clock. I mean, really, I've got some jewelry polish here. I want to polish up your watch and make it all shiny. And
so he grabs 2 6-packs to get him through fixing this fucking water pump.
Yeah.
And then David is back at the inn doing complex computing, and we see the amazing imaging system putting together the ghost on the computer on this fucking Tandy fucking 386. But
with the digital wand.
Yes, at the same time he's doing that, Iris is doing her log lady impersonation. She's sitting by the fucking fire holding a log, and I was like, that has to be that. Come on, you can't do that unintentionally. She's just sitting there cradling a log.
Well, when was Twin Peaks? When was this? This was like 89.
Seems like, oh wow.
This may have been before.
Do you think that Twin Peaks was an homage to this terrible movie?
Yes. Without this, there would not be any Twin Peaks.
You heard it here first.
Mm-hmm. Big if true.
And only here. Nowhere else will ever make that claim. Okay, so finally,
the director's listening. He's like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna go see the fuck out of Twin Peaks right now."
Finally, a real actor shows up at this point.
David Warner.
Hi, David Warner. He cashed his $50 check, and he is here. He comes to stay the night. He is a psychic medium. We saw that black and white photo from the beginning. It's all coming together. All the puzzle pieces are fitting.
Everything fits.
Yep, like a Swiss watch that we're filming from behind
from the inside.
Yes. And we also notice here that he is a literal 1.5 feet taller than our main actor, and so our first scene together with them, they had not really thought that through very well, and it is tough to get them in. They seem very unbalanced in the first frame, but then they figure that out eventually. So David Warner accuses him of being in love with Iris because he's psychic, so he knows these things.
Yeah. How?
How is he in love with her?
Yes.
He's got an abuse kink.
This bothers me so much because he's a
dude who has a kink for being abused by people who do not want him to be there.
I guess, man.
That is seriously. There's only one way, and that is the only way this makes any fucking sense.
Yep.
That is it.
I don't understand why anybody wants this girl. She's not pleasant.
She is very unpleasant to be around. I mean, she's had a pretty fucking awful life.
Yeah.
So, okay. Now David Warner is sitting in the haunted Barca Lounger.
I wouldn't sit there if I were you.
When Darla arrives at the door, uninvited.
Well, that sets Pickle Puss off big time.
Because she's super hot.
Yeah.
So she's not having that either. And so, luckily, this big blow up where she's like, finally this new person shows up and Iris is like, everybody get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Leave. And then David Warner's like, everyone shut up. I'm a real actor. And we're going to do things my way. And everyone's like, you're the only one with gravitas. We'll fucking listen to you,
okay.
I guess.
Yeah.
Real actor talking. I guess we just have to do what he says. And they do. They're like, we're having a seance. And she's like, I don't want to do any of this, but David Warner asked me to.
And again, dude, you wanted help with this project. This whole thing started because you went to dude's college lecture. I guess you just, on your off day, did a bitch of a drive, what they refer to it as in this movie, to a stranger's college lecture. Can you even just go to a college lecture like that if you're not even in school?
I mean, you certainly can't now.
Yeah, now.
Yeah, you would have to audit it. You'd have to actually specifically.
She got the whole ball rolling on this thing, and then won't give anybody any info and fights everybody every step of the way.
Yep.
Like, what? These people are only here because of you.
Yep.
And why are you all mad at him?
She is a pain in the butt.
Totally.
So they do.
And everybody loves her.
And everybody loves her for it.
They lust after her so hard.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, leaving, that might just be one of those like dangerous weirdo obsessions where if she spent any time with him, he'd be like, "Oh, I guess we don't have anything in common." Okay. Wait, you don't like drinking until you throw up?
Why was I pursuing this so hard?
Do you not like water pump maintenance at 3 a.m. loaded? Oh, well,
That's kind of my thing.
It's the only thing I'm into. I guess we have nothing in common. I guess I'm going to go bother the other woman in town. Anyway, David Warner calls the spirit, and we get some haunted house effects tape bullshit here. Where it's like rattling chains. If there had been like... There's literally a sound like that. There's literally a ghost going woo and rattling chains.
Yep.
If there had been a witch cackle and then a fucking cat screeching.
Door thud. It'd be just like that Halloween sound effect tape that we all had when we were a kid. Yeah. It's bad.
It's pretty hilarious. A transparent headless figure steps out of the fireplace.
Okay, I want to give it to the movie. This is cool. This is a cool visual. I've never seen like a headless ghost like this. Well, I mean, I guess you could call Sleepy Hollow that. Sure. But I mean, like this
outside of a Scooby-Doo episode.
Yeah, there is a headless ghost that's on an endless repeating pattern every night.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
It is cool. He walks around the entire table, and everybody gets a moment to say something witty about the ghost. Mostly the assistant says witty stuff. If you touch me, I'm gonna end you, or something like that. And which is funny because he's a ghost. And he finally gets over to David Warner and possesses him.
And he's like, there's my psychic body I like to live in.
I was like, only one of these people is going to be able to act well enough to get my message across, and that's David Warner. He does some automatic writing on a piece of paper, but it's backwards because he's from some sort of mirror dimension. They put it up to the mirror, and it says, "Iris is mine." David asks the name of the spirit. He says, Kurt Norwood. And they ask if it's her husband, and she avoids the question.
And she says, no, it's nobody.
It's nobody.
Lady, come on.
Yep.
We got a ghost right here that we're seeing, and the only reason we're here is because of you. Spill the beans already.
Yep. So Warner gets some cool makeup and contacts.
Yeah, good sport he is.
He is. I can't believe he did that for whatever they paid him to be in this. I mean, they might have paid him a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I would assume a lot of these low-budget things like this,
a lot of the budget just goes to that.
Goes to the one guy.
Yep.
Like, that's there for 2 days and just puts their name on the fucking thing. So it could have been a lot of money. So that might be why. And they get to do 2 days of work for a big paycheck. So I understand why people make these movies like that. But, poor David Warner. He probably could have been Severus Snape if he'd just played his cards right. Oh, well. Anyway, turns out... she says, "Where is it?"
Yeah.
And he says, "You know, because you killed it." Why wouldn't you say he?
Yeah.
And again, this is just that annoying thing where it's like, it's very clearly you're obfuscating for the sake of obfuscating. There's no reason why a human being in this situation would not refer to the child as it. Yep. Because they're trying to be like, you're talking about his head. You killed my head. No, whatever. Turns out that's her dad. We never saw it coming unless you've seen a movie before. So he proceeds to try to choke the life out of Iris, throws David across the room like a rag doll, and then unpossesses David Warner and walks back into the fireplace.
Yep.
We get a red dissolve into the ambulance, carrying everyone out of the house except for David and Iris. It's not over, except it's over for David Warner because
David Warner's out of the gurney. He's like, "All right, I'll see y'all. It's been a pleasure working with y'all. I'm out of the movie now.
This
Bye."
has been great. I'm sorry I can't do any autographs for any of you. But it's been really nice meeting you all.
Keep it surreal.
Whatever your names are. Goodbye. Please don't ever call me again. Turns out they were looking for both his head and a baby. Leaving, because they say something weird like, he can never, if he ever finds his head again, something, he'll get...
See, what the hell? Why would that be a thing? Like, what?
It's not.
Why is the dad even back? Like, that... It bothers me that they didn't give the dad any backstory, that he didn't, practice dark arts or anything to lead up to, like, how he's still around, or why it's like, oh, I knew I could only kill his power in the afterlife by severing his head. Like, we don't get any of that. They don't set up any of that. They don't give us any of that. They just...
And that kind of stuff would be helpful for making it creepier, and that kind of stuff would make it make more sense.
Yes.
Because it would only take a few words too, where you could just say, if he finds his head, then he can break the cycle. If he's reunited with his head, then this constant cycle of him doing the same thing over and over again will end, or whatever.
Yeah.
And what winds up happening is that I think that they just kind of throw some ADR in there to make that make sense. But, Leaving finds his head here, and it's been preserved incredibly well for the 3 months that it's been in the water pipe.
You said that, but I don't know if that's true or not, because when he gets reunited with the head, you see the head melting in the bag on the ground, and then it like zaps into him. Like, I don't think he's actually got the head on, or his actual body's back. It like makes a ghost.
No. When Li Ving finds it, he pulls it out of the drain, and you see a mannequin head.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, that's what you're talking about. Oh, okay. I thought you meant his head on the...
All the skin is on it. The hair is attached.
Well, it was underwater.
That would make it worse.
In a pipe that never leaked when he busted it open.
I hope they weren't drinking that water.
Dude. This wasn't in the drain. He said water pumping the water in the house. So
yes.
They've been drinking head water
They've been drinking head water.
For 3 months?
3 months of head water. But luckily, he doesn't melt.
What the F? That doesn't make any sense. I didn't even think of that. Now I'm even more mad.
Delicious head water.
Head water.
It's like tea made out of human brains.
Oh, man. Bottled water's big right now. We should sell Funbox Monster Podcast head water.
Yes. Just sever someone's head. And
with this guy's head on the bottle.
I think we're going to make a fortune. Okay, so...
Homestead House brand head water.
Okay, so... Iris tells the most horrible stories about the abuse she suffered at the hands of her father. It's fucking gross and horrible. It's almost... The other thing about it is that it's too far to make it... It's too realistic to be funny, and it's too far removed to feel like you can feel any kind of realistic compassion for it, because it actually gets to the point where it's like every second of her life is this horror, and the idea that she's still staying in this house is insane.
Yeah.
So unless, again, here's the thing. If she's like, I'm protecting the soul of this baby from my father, who wants to get it for dark magic or whatever, there it is. There's something, like you can grab onto that concept that like she's only there. She's like so strong. Like this makes her a more likable character. If you're like, oh my God, she suffered so terribly at the hands of her father, and yet she's willing to stay there with the ghost haunting that every fucking day because she's trying to find this child and free its soul from the grips of this thing, which would be like the haunting kind of concept that like he's holding, or haunting of the Hell House. It would be like Richard Matheson's Hell House. But instead, we're not explained any of that stuff. She is constantly digging in the garden, so it is very possible that that's what they're trying to imply, but without any story stuff telling us that, it's not very satisfying. And it, like, again, it would make us like her a lot more.
Yeah.
So, whatever. Okay, she has nightmares. She's all sweaty. And Fleur de Lis plays. She remembers her dad sitting in the chair with classical music. She's upstairs screaming and having the baby. We go through the whole thing where Dad comes in with the cleaver. We think he's gonna kill her or gonna kill the baby. Instead, I guess he just cuts the umbilical cord. It's hard to tell what happens. He tries to convince her that she has smothered the child.
What's his goal? Just to take the baby and kill it?
Yes. He's just going to go kill it anyway, but he wants her to feel bad. So he's like convincing her that by trying to hide the baby from him, that she smothered it, so he had to go bury the body.
Ow.
Just to make her feel even more guilty. Again, this movie's gross, and it's got a lot of terrible things in it.
How did she intend to hide a baby that she was giving birth to in her own house with him there? Like,
I don't think she did, but whatever. None of that.
Screaming might give it away.
Yeah, it might. Whatever. But so she sees him with the shovel. He claims that she'd smothered it, blah, blah, blah. So she freaks out and lops his head off with a giant meat cleaver.
That's a grave secret.
And that was her grave secret. And that's when she opened Grave Secrets barbecue sauce. The only sauce that has the taste of human head in every bottle.
Wash it down with some head water.
Anyway, so she's going to take him to the sheriff's station. But she crashed the car, I guess. I don't know. That's what she explains. What she says. So what we saw in the beginning is a guy with his head on.
Yep.
He's fine, and he's a bit able to strangle her. What they say is that she crashed the car, and that the implication is that she cut his head off, and she was bringing the body to the sheriff to explain what had happened when the car crashed.
I love that this is a universe without VIN numbers, too. When they were telling that story, they're like, the car crashed. Nobody knows who it was. There was no head, no license plate.
Oh, God.
It's like, yeah, there's surely no way to identify a car without a license plate.
Yes. Cops could never do it. But whatever. So David and Iris watch the ghost dad take the baby out to bury it. Turns out the monstrous father was an unreliable narrator. And he's the one that's killing the baby. So we watch the transparent headless ghost dig a hole to bury the screaming child that he dumps in unceremoniously. Like, God damn, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Give me something that's not so goddamn bleak. But whatever. She jumps at the ghost. I mean, she's traumatized enough that it's kind of understandable, but she makes a really sad leap and falls on her face.
Oop.
Of course.
Because it's a ghost.
It's a fucking ghost.
You can't punch a ghost.
You can't. But Lee Ving shows up, and he sees the ghost car.
He sees a ghost car.
That the ghost crashed. Because cars have souls?
Yeah, dude, it's a ghost car.
Okay.
I can't make heads or tails out of this scene.
Are you saying that if I don't baptize my fucking car, it stays in limbo?
I am saying that.
Jesus Christ.
But no, this dude legit finds a ghost car just sitting there unmanned.
How many cars
from the
must
accident
stay rolling the earth after their time because they were never baptized? So sad. Oh, good.
The ghost car is so awesome, and we got a really cool from the inside of the ghost windshield here. And we see him. We see him putting his lamp through. Yeah, it looks super cool. I love it.
I mean, again, there's nobody is saying that this guy can't direct a movie.
Yep.
Like, nobody's saying this guy is incompetent, because he is not. Like, this is a very competently made movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, crazy competently made. But again, ghost car? I don't know.
I don't
Doesn't
care.
matter.
I love it.
The ghost car's haunting the tree now, I guess, or whatever. I don't understand Christian cosmology. It's complicated. That's what I get for not being raised in the church. Anyway, now Lee's accidentally brought the ghost his head, which is the thing that we kind of were implied is the thing that we don't want to have happen.
I mean, obviously, you don't want that to happen.
Sure. Now he becomes kind of corporeal, I guess, is what happens. And poor, sweet, innocent Lee Ving is killed.
In a very lazy...
Yeah, in a way that if they'd actually shown it, would have been
disgusting.
disgusting.
He like squeezes his head Michael Myers style, but with no payoff. It's just
no
like...
payoff. Yep. Yeah, we never get any effects shots in this movie.
That's a criminal thing about this movie
Sure.
too. Yep.
It's like, and you've got to have an R rating for just how gross the content is. So
Yeah.
It's like if you've got this much disgusting, horrible, like psychological
Balance
content,
it out with fun nudity and gore effects.
Yeah, do something silly. Like,
That's what people that are renting these fucking movies want.
Yeah,
That's what I want.
And also, if you're gonna blame something for this movie, blame the idea that like someone's gonna go to a Blockbuster video and pick up this fucking movie and be like, "Yay! I can't wait to have pizza and drink soda and watch this fun horror movie." And it's like, oh. You're making me think about this while I'm fucking eating a pepperoni pizza from Domino's? Fuck you. I'm already eating a Domino's pizza. My life is rough enough. Jesus. Ugh. Boo. Anyway. Okay, they dig up the baby and say something stupid, but Zombie Dad wants the baby. I guess. We don't know. I don't know why.
That's the only thing he wanted more than his head.
Was the baby. We don't know any of this because, again, they wasted all this time not telling us stuff when they could have been actually explaining the entire system of ghost logic that goes into all of this shit, and maybe we would understand what was happening.
Why do you want the baby so bad anyway? He's the one that threw it in the ground.
He didn't want it before. Why does he want it now?
Exactly.
Again, give us a reason.
Yeah.
Like, you could explain this in the story and make us believe it. Like,
if he does get the baby, he can get the baby energy ghost juice and become alive again. I don't care. Just give us some reason.
It will make him incredibly powerful to steal a baby's soul or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. But it doesn't happen that way because they couldn't think of an ending, so they just, like, they say, "We're summoning the baby's spirit. Come on, baby spirit." And the baby's like, "Hi, what's up?" And apparently by being there, the baby's soul touches the dad and explodes him.
And they both were doing this chant that was like rehearsed.
As
like
though they both knew what it was.
That we never saw them rehearse this chant at all. Yeah. And that made the baby...
And they're doing a dance, and it was like a TikTok thing that they were doing where they were like clapping in unison. And I was like, this just seems tasteless.
Yep. And then the baby just like... I guess the baby soul energy just comes out of the hole, engulfs Ghost Dad, and just goes boop.
Duh. Everybody knows that baby ghost energy is enough to kill dad ghost energy. Duh.
It's kind of like in Idle Hands when the hand gets stabbed at the end and it just goes poof. And they kind of like make fun of how anticlimactic it is. Only that's what happens in this movie, and they're just like, it's finally over.
We did it.
Like they just treat that really lame pop as legit.
It is the most unsatisfying ending to a movie that I can think of in such a long time. It is so... There's nothing to it. It's such a nothing ending.
Yep.
Ugh, bums me out. Whatever. But because it's such a nothing ending... They bring the baby to consecrated ground and everybody's happy. Just kidding. Iris is going to need so much therapy. God, go to therapy, Iris. You're going to be fine, but seriously, go to therapy. It'll make things better. Anyway,
knowing Iris, she would just go to therapy and be like on her own, and then be like, and then when they ask her anything, she's like, no.
Can you tell me why you're here?
I don't want to talk about that.
Hey, Johnny Tightlips, why are you here at therapy? I ain't gonna tell you nothing.
Can I go yet? You're the one that came here.
Go suck a lemon. But whatever. They go back. Now they're a couple. Evidently, they're in bed together. Sure. This whirlwind romance that they've had. Nothing puts you in the mood for romance like this fucking story. God, I want to barf out of every orifice. Jesus Christ.
Good thing you made those blood diner barf bags.
Thank God. Oh, this movie makes me feel icky. Anyway, okay, they go back, they hear noises, but he's like, it's probably the wind. And she's like, nah, I'm going to check under the bed. She does, and we get a jump scare. Honestly, it was a pretty good jump scare. I'm not going to lie. That was pretty fucking good.
In the face, like, the makeup effects
The makeup
great.
is great on the ghost zombie dad. That is really gross and awesome. I like that. That is a good thing. So, she turns out it was a dream. So now they do it again. They look under. Oh, it's nothing. And then she's like, see, it was nothing. And he kisses her. but he looks at the clock as the second hand goes towards midnight, and we cut just before it hits midnight, implying that potentially it's not over.
Or potentially it totally is.
Right, exactly. We don't know.
If it went to that midnight and For Elise started playing again, then it'd be like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. I mean, if it was like, if it hit midnight, Fleur de Lis starts playing, it cuts to his face, and he's like, oh, fuck. And then cocks a shotgun.
Yeah. That would be great.
Looks like Dad's got to be put to bed. Yeah. That.
Then the titular song kicks in.
Yes.
Get the grave secrets.
You know, I worked at a warehouse selling sauces called Family Secrets, and every time I was like thinking about this, I was thinking
It seems like a terrible name for
Family Secrets.
It just sounds dark to me. Yeah, I guess
I mean,
it's supposed to be like what, secret recipe.
It's like yeah, but it's called Family Secrets. Yeah.
Maybe I watched too many horror movies. But
I think it might be that.
Yeah.
It was the dude. I worked for a dude making euros in the main mall at a euro kiosk. And
you talking about like gyros?
Yes, the thing that he would have slapped me on the side of the head if
for calling it gyros.
Yes,
they're called euros.
Euros. Yeah.
And most people say gyros. I know that's not right. I thought it was gyros.
Yeah, it's euros.
Euros.
According to Dan, it's euros.
It's gyros.
Sure. He's the Greek dude.
I make a mean gyro.
I'm believing the Greek dude who makes euros for a fucking living and sells a sauce specifically for them. But yeah, I worked in a warehouse with that dude.
Of course you did.
Weird job. Yes.
That was
Anyway.
Grave Secrets.
Yeah, that was Grave Secrets.
We made a grave error.
Yeah. Watching this movie was a grave error because it is not fun, it's not funny, and I hope you don't think that we're making light of any of the things that happen in it, because there's a lot of dark shit in this movie.
Let's go through the rest of the movies that I picked out too in that photo.
Oh, what if they're all like this?
But they can't be.
I haven't seen Evil Laugh since I was like 16.
I'm trying to remember what's in the picture. There's Evil Laugh, there's Mirror Mirror 2, there's The Crawlers, and Ghost House.
And Ghost House I've seen so many times.
Is it good? It must be if you've seen it so many times. I've never seen it once.
It actually is really good, honestly. It's like, what's funny is that when I worked at Spooky World, the soundtrack to Ghost House is what we used in The Haunt as the soundtrack for The Haunt. Like in the background, we would play the Ghost House soundtrack, which was
cool.
just nutter butters. It's like it slows down and speeds
I want to do
up
Ghost House.
We could do Ghost House.
Yay!
It is a very funny movie. It's very silly and Italian and ridiculous.
Is it better than Grave Secrets?
It's so much better than Grave Secrets, and it is. I feel like I can even remember character names. I've seen it so many times. But yeah, it's a wacky movie. Riff Tracks has done it, so there is at least like probably people may have seen it at some point just because it was like released as a Riff Tracks.
Yep.
But it is a wackadoo movie.
Okay.
It really, I mean, it's obviously mostly a ripoff of Poltergeist.
Okay.
You know, evil clown, little girl. You know, it's an Italian movie, so there's always going to be a little girl who finds a doll and then something happens.
Yeah, they do seem to do that a lot.
It seems like little girl with doll is in every Italian horror movie at some point. And the doll is always evil, and they don't know until later. But there's some good Evil Dead ripoff stuff with like blood in light bulbs exploding and... Yeah, fun stuff in that movie.
Cool beans.
Yeah, we could do Ghost House.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, there you go. So that is Grave Secrets. What a fucking terrible choice.
Yeah, I've got it on tape. If anybody wants to buy it, I'm probably never going to watch it again.
Yeah.
Hit me up.
Yeah, not a fan of the material involved in this movie. I'm not a fan of movies that focus on sexual assaults and all this other crap. It's just
I'm
really
not a fan of movies that give us boring lead
And
characters. Both
also
the
it's
lead
just
characters are just boring.
It's also just boring. And again, very competent director, knows what he's doing.
Yep.
Like he took a really brave swing. I don't think that he's stupid for making the choices he did. I said it before in the podcast. I feel like they are mistakes that I can totally understand making, but they're just like like when you're inside something like that, I can see how you would miss the fact that this doesn't connect to A and B, and like the script just, it feels like it was changed on the fly so that they could make a couple of different things connect.
Yep.
Specifically him looking for the head and the head being part of the equation, because that felt like an afterthought. And definitely the ending was an afterthought.
Yep.
Because, man, that was weak as hell. But other than that, all the actors were good.
Yeah. I don't think it's terrible. But like you said, yes, the cardinal sin is it's boring. It plods, it's slow.
Yeah. And at its heart,
it doesn't deliver any of the goods that I want from cheeseball horrors, but that's also because it's not trying to be a cheeseball horror.
It's trying to be a real movie.
It's trying to be a real movie, and
which I don't like in general.
No, it should just stay in its lane and be a fun horror.
Yeah. Or be a Lifetime movie, which is honestly kind of how it felt like it was going. You know what I mean? Like it was like a hyper ambitious Lifetime movie where it's like you're trying to avoid all of the genre thrills because you have such dark subject matter that you don't want the fun parts of a genre movie to seem like you're disrespecting the horrors that you're showing on screen.
Yep.
I don't know. I can't explain it. I don't know why someone would make a movie like this.
No.
It feels like a movie made by somebody who loves horror movies, and they forgot to put the stuff that people like in horror movies.
Yes. That is a very good way to put it.
And I don't know why, because again, he's doing the Sam Raimi stuff. He's like, he wants to do the crazy stuff, and it's just like,
give us the crazy stuff then.
Then why not write a movie that's crazy?
Yep.
Why not add goofy, crazy, wackadoo shit that we're going to love and we're going to remember into the future?
Yep.
It feels like a missed opportunity to me. But, if he likes it and he did what he wanted, then the art worked, and he is clearly an artist. So more power to you, buddy. Good on you.
Better than any movie I ever made.
Yeah, same. I am bad at all of that. Anyway, but you know what I'm not bad at?
Running a comic shop?
Fuck, actually,
I'm fucking terrible at that.
Honest to God, I'm fucking terrible at that. I'm a pretty decent drummer. But you know what would help with how bad I am at running this comic shop?
If people bought things here?
If people would buy things on our web store, which is coastcitycomics.com, please do that, because it will help me continue to make terrible decisions at work while still turning a profit, which is this time of year brutally difficult. So yeah, buy stuff. We got t-shirts, we got comics. You can buy your weekly comics from us. They come out every Tuesday.
Yeah,
do stuff.
It's also November. It's the beginning of Christmas. Buy everybody in your family a Funbox Monster Podcast t-shirt.
They all want that.
That would be a great stocking stuffer. And then get them something even cooler here to wrap.
Exactly. I mean, if you're listening to this, you probably like some of the stuff that we sell. We have all the NECA horror figures. We have tons and tons of horror stuff, vintage movie posters, etc., etc., etc. Check out our website. It's got all sorts of cool shit on it. So please do that. I would really appreciate it, because as literally every single person was telling me today, which was really wonderful, wow, there sure are a lot of empty businesses on Congress Street.
Yeah.
I was like, thanks. Not feeling that at all.
Yep.
After my rent doubled, and then everybody closed up because business didn't double. Anyway.
If there's anything I can say about this store, it is not empty.
It sure isn't.
This thing is packed to the ceiling with fun things. So if you're in Portland, pop on in and say hi to us.
Come visit. We've definitely had some people who...
I'm here Tuesdays and Thursdays, and if
Yeah.
Tristan lets me come out back and say hi, I'll come out from back and say hi.
As if there's anything that I can do to tell anyone what to do with this fucking store. Literally, I don't care enough to tell people to show up on time, to do their jobs, or do anything. I'm bad at managing.
God, you're lucky I show up on time on principle.
I know. It's a good thing that I inspire pity in my employees. Yes, there it is. Thank you all for listening. We really appreciate it, and thank you all for coming out. For everybody that came to see Blood Diner and all that. And we're gonna do more Funbox events. We're gonna bring back Funbox at the movies, which is a thing that we used to do back in the old days. And we had some amazing shows for Funbox at the Movies.
Yeah.
Including Gunnar Hansen doing Texas Chainsaw, you know, all the Lost Skeleton movies with the Lost Skeleton actors, and you name it. Fucking Fritzy Cohen for Jaws, and like all sorts of cool shit. We did a lot of cool shit around here, man.
Yeah.
You know
then
what?
You just became a mediocre old man and stopped doing anything.
Listen, I got jaded. I got sad. And now, you know what? I'm out of my COVID funk, and I think I'm ready to go back at it.
Nice.
And embrace life again.
Love it.
So
put on another Comic-Con.
no, but we will do some fun smaller events that aren't a giant $30,000 convention that I absolutely could not afford, and just hoped through the grace of God that I paid for. I had like $500 in the bank when we started this $30,000 convention, and was just like, I hope people buy tickets, and I just skated by on the skin of my teeth. That
Well,
I will never do that again.
I had a lovely time manning the door there.
Yes, I had my head on the counter going, oh my God, I'm going to lose my business.
I remember
that.
that.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, that was terrifying. Anyway, we love you all. Thank you for listening. Have a good night. See
And
you
don't
later.
don't keep this podcast a grave secret.
Yes.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Don't keep it a grave secret. And write a grave review about how much you like it.
But not a secret review. Actually publish it.
Actually publish it. Do it on iTunes or Spotify or one of those things. We really appreciate it. You can check it out. We're going to maybe improve our video at some point because it kind of lackluster. But, you know.
But so is your face.
Oh, shit. Damn. That is brutal. Anyway. Thank you
gotta
for
flip
listening.
off the viewers and then they come back.
Oh, okay, you're negging them. You learned the game from Mystery. Good job. Anyway, we're gonna go because I want to go home, and we'll see you next week. Good night.
Peace.